guys. We are on. We are on. We are on. We're rolling. I'm going to try to open this bottle of this Magnum of Veuve Clicquot. I'm going to open this Magnum. I hope I don't make a total. This could be a disaster. I'm going to put this down for a second. I wanted to show it. I wanted to show it, guys. I wanted to show it. Give me 1 second. Give me a second here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no, we're here in election night. It's election night. It's election night, guys. It's the big night. I know I'm not supposed to be opening this early. I know that you're not supposed to do that. And I think you guys can wait, but I got to do the Periscope now. I'm not doing it later. So I got this big Magnum of Veuve Clicquot. I don't want to be like Hillary Clinton in 2016, popping the champagne, thinking it's over. But I know it's over. But I do want to tell you guys something very important, okay? And this is going to be the crux of this election night Periscope. So first off, let's just talk about updates real quick here. All right. Cheers to all of you. I love you. This has been such an amazing journey. It's can you believe it's been about 8 months, just shy of 8 months since we started these COVID cabals mid-March. And guys, we're going to be going with these at least until this coming March based on the timeline. So, looks nice. Okay. All right. So let's look at what we've got right now. Okay. Let's talk about Florida. Massive bellwether state. Where Florida goes, the upper Midwest goes. Florida right now is a total slaughter for the Democrats. It's a complete and fucking slaughter. Okay. We are talking about twice as many Republicans out to vote than Democrats. The other quarter of the group is independents. We know from across the country with data on this stuff, from pollsters like People's Pundit, independents are breaking minimum 2-1 towards Trump, in some places 3-1. Okay? Keep in mind, the reason there's so many independents voting also is because many of these independents were Democrats, and they left the Democrat Party. Okay? Now, you could say, well, that means they're left-leaning. But why would a Democrat leave the Democrat Party if he was planning on voting for a Democrat? Okay? So they've left the Democratic Party. They're not maybe prepared to be Republicans, but they don't want to be associated with the Democratic Party. Okay? So what we're looking at right now in Florida, we are looking at, on election day numbers, we're looking at easily 70% of same-day voters are voting for Trump right now. Right now, we only know. So right now we only know the people who have been coming in, what the vote totals are. They can't start to actually count who voted for who yet. Okay, but we do know what party backgrounds have voted, and the people who are really focused on Florida, who know Florida elections, it's just getting started. Okay, it's going to be like a 2 to 3 point win in Florida, which is going to be massive. Trump's going to do probably more than double what he did in 2016 in Florida. All right. Could be bigger than that because it really depends just how big are independents swinging. I can tell you also that, I've been retweeting these things. Jack Posobiec, put out that stuff from Philadelphia. People have been talking about the fraud and stuff that they're trying to do. Yeah, this is the usual stuff. I'm from outside of Philly. The city, this is how they do stuff. They do fraud every single year. They have never had people so on their ass about it, okay? Like Trump's lawyers, Trump supporters, poll watchers are all over them. And they're fighting, fine, yeah, but this isn't surprising. None of this is surprising, okay? You have polling machines shutting down across the state. None of this is surprising. Trump supporters aren't giving up their ballots. Trump supporters are waiting there, okay? But you see in places like Philadelphia, there's no turnout. There's nobody there. Now, I know people may have voted early, but in Philadelphia, sorry, you have to get out the minority vote, and the minority vote is not coming out. They're not coming out. I told you guys this. I was standing in line just a little bit ago, standing in line for the grocery store because, got to stock up for the week of riots in New York. And this young black guy drove by and he just said like, Trump 2020, yeah. And like looked at me. I was like, how did you know, man? How did you know? But like there was nobody there. The poll worker, the lady there had like I put my ballot in the machine. She was like, oh, because she was supposed to help me with that. I did it on my own. She's like, I didn't even notice you there. Like I didn't even know that we had anybody here. There's been nobody around. And I'm sorry, I voted at that same place in 2018 midterms, and I saw something very different. So yeah, we can explain. Early voting is certainly a big part of this, but guys, there's no enthusiasm. Okay, there's no enthusiasm on the left. There's no enthusiasm on the left. I'm not doing No Shave November. I'm just, I haven't been thinking about it. I'm letting it get a little, get the red beard out a bit. Okay. So Pennsylvania is going to be fine. Pennsylvania is going to be fine. The Amish are turning out. The rural counties are turning out like crazy. The Amish are not only turning out, and when the Amish turn out, they turn out everyone. They didn't used to vote at all. They started voting in 2016. In 2020, not only the men are voting, they kind of broke one of their traditions and they registered every single woman, and every woman and man who's able to vote in the Amish community is going out as a community to vote for Trump. That's how they do it. That's like hundreds of thousands, really a million people. In 2016, the Amish swung the vote in Pennsylvania for Trump because that was like a million votes. And guess what? No one polls the Amish because they don't have fucking phones. Okay, so no, they don't have phones, so nobody knows. Nate Silver can't call up and do one of his bullshit polls. She wasn't actually doing. So I don't want you guys to be afraid of it. Now, what happens in Pennsylvania? What could happen in Pennsylvania? Yeah, they could try to stuff some things. They'll try to shut down the machines. It's going to go to the courts. Worst case scenario, it'll go to the courts. There's tons of people who have been documenting the entire thing, and the people doing this are pretty stupid. Okay, they're stupid. Like they're not the people who are trying to commit this sort of like harassment at the precincts. Stupid people. Okay, don't worry about it. The absolute worst case scenario. Let's just say that they really like Trump, like they really just went crazy with the fraud. That would be them, and this is like a less than 1% chance that they're going to be able to steal the state from this stuff. Okay. Because they do it every year. They did it way more in 2016, and Trump still won. Okay, it's not like this is the first year Pennsylvania Democrats are committing fraud. So the worst case scenario, though, that they did steal it, it wouldn't affect the results of his victory because he's going to win multiple other upper Midwestern states. Okay, the Biden campaign, in fact, has pretty much conceded Pennsylvania lost. They've definitely conceded Florida lost. I mean, they haven't said that explicitly. But that's what's going on. Because now they're talking about like, well, there's other ways to win without Florida and Pennsylvania. You mean Arizona? You mean Arizona where Maricopa County is ahead with Republicans? You mean in Nevada where I think Republicans are almost ahead in Clark County? These are like this is like big population centers where there's a lot of liberals there. Okay? So it's a romp. If you haven't voted, get the fuck out and vote. Because we got to run up the score. We got to win the popular vote. We got to give Trump a mandate. You got to send your energy to him. I don't think I have to say this to you guys. It doesn't matter. This isn't like a typical election where, well, I don't know. No, we have to, your vote, this is why I banned people before who were saying, like, doesn't matter to vote. Your vote is like when you sign consent forms, right? For big tech to search your data this is energetically, it creates levels of consent. So when you decide, well, I'm not going to vote against this, doesn't matter. That's bullshit. When you vote, you send an energetic signature that I have made a conscious choice. I've chosen something. And I think it's okay if people don't vote. I just want to make the point that if you believe in this trajectory with Trump and where we're going, the ascension timeline, you get your fucking ass out and you vote. And that's just the way it is. That's the way it is. I don't want to hear about data crap. It's a lot bigger than that. You guys know I'm amped. All I have been doing is sending energy to Trump. All I've been doing nonstop. Trump's going to win this. We're going to win this. That's all I am spending. This is why I haven't been putting out content. I am literally sending out energy towards Trump and reading data points. That's all I'm doing. And of course, betting on those data points and energy. But I'm doing it. So, all right. So this is all the good news. They can't do anything about it. I actually think that we are in a better timeline than in terms of how they're going to try to mangle this than we were before. Before they were really trying to, like, I think that Trump's margin is getting so high that it's going to be very, very difficult for them to cover this stuff. But I do want to say this, okay? I want to say this because it's very important. And, I may be kind of signing off for the night after this. All right? And here's why. They are going after accounts. They are going after accounts. They've been doing it since the late afternoon. Now you have BitChute. It's been taken down. They are trying to shut down anybody on social media who's reporting anything remotely about the truth. Because they're trying to make it seem that when Trump declares victory, they're going. I retweeted this. I want you guys to see it. They are going to, and the thing is, the ban hammer is serious, but there's no one's doing anything. It's not like people are saying mean words. They're just saying, "Oh, it looks like this is happening in this county. Banned, right? Trump's winning 3-1 here. Banned." Or they're trying to censor the fact that this is where it's going. And so you got to tell people in the real world. You got to tell the people who you're hanging out with. You got to tell them the truth about where this is going. Guys, I was up till 4 a.m. with 2016. I was really 3 sheets to the wind. I was nervous. I wasn't as kind of like spiritually grounded then as I am now. But it was a legitimate fight. And when Trump pulled Wisconsin, I cried, because it was I was nervous because it really was a nail biter. Okay, this isn't a nail biter. This is just simply they are going to try their usual tricks to discredit stuff. It's not anything to be stressed about. Do not be stressed. I wouldn't open this bottle of champagne if I was stressed. Do I look stressed? I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed at all. I'm really excited. I'm really amped up. And I completely expect them to do everything that they're going to do. They're going to try to say it didn't happen. They're going to say Trump came too early, that there needs to be more, counting of votes. And then they're going to use that as a pretext to start the riots. That's what they're going to do. How effective this is going to be remains to be seen. I think it looks less effective than it did even 24 hours ago because the margins that he is racking up are so enormous. Okay. People, if we had any sort of like legitimate polling, we could have called Florida for Trump around noon today. But this is going to continue to go on. So don't stress about it. Just be ready for the demons, as Jay Campbell says, the Democrats. Be ready for them to do their shit. Be ready for them to rep the darkness. Be ready for them to lie. That's what they always do. And don't stress about it. Don't stress. I as you guys know, I put a lot down. I'm not stressed. And I'm happy that you guys have been doing it too. I just helped out a friend today. Stack it in, right? It's like you got to put money here, put money here, put money here, put money here. Rack it up. Look, this is like the best way you can break one of these people's worldview is to take their money. I swear to God, it's a really losing money makes an impact, right? It makes an impact. What do I think will happen after the results are out? I think we're going to start to. I don't think that the big arrests are going to happen immediately. I think that's going to happen in the spring. But I think you will see the FBI director fired. I think that you're going to see that soon thereafter. And the thing is, you're going to see such a destruction of the media's credibility after this. Because, yeah, you're going to have the insane, hyper-medicated radicals who are going to be... I want to make a point here about that, by the way. You notice how nervous and sick they feel? Guys, you may not understand energy. You may not be able to interpret it. But you experience it. You can't not experience energy. It's literally being blasted at you all the time. So there's a reason why we feel pretty good and they feel freaked out because you can tell yourself lies all the time. You can say whatever you want, but it doesn't make a difference. You can make up any kind of shit and tell yourself, like, people there, like, Texas is a toss up. Independents are going to be going for Biden by large margins. Like, what the fuck? What kind of plan are these people on? But you can tell yourself these things, but you don't feel good. You don't feel good. And so it starts to reflect in their behavior. So I recommend people, I've had some clients and some friends ask me, what do I do about the people who are really supporting? They hate that I support Trump. They hate this stuff. I'm keeping distance from them because they're going to have their own moments. They're going to start to collapse, right? They're going to start to internally collapse. And I think if you try to engage with them during that, you are going to get all of their projection onto you. Okay, all of their emotions are going to get thrown onto you. And it's much better for you to keep a distance and just send love when it's appropriate. If you do happen to interact with them, keep the conversation away from politics. Don't rub it into their faces, okay? Don't rub it in. Just be, but keep your distance. I really would stay away from people right now who think that Biden's supposed to win this election. I would really stay away from people like that because they're really they're in a bad place, and it's like you have to think of it like a nuclear reactor going critical. Like, you just don't want to be around there for it. You don't want to be around there. So, guys, it's gonna be a great night. Don't stress about it. Don't stress about it. If you guys look, and I gotta tell you, go on PredictIt. If you haven't gone on PredictIt yet, get that money. Get that money, guys. Get it. Get that money. You guys know my electoral map. Bet on the electoral map. If you're feeling really daring, you can throw some money down for Virginia or New Mexico. Some indications they might flip. I didn't put any money down. Okay, I'm not endorsing that. But you got some good margins. And the contracts are getting tapped out. So you're running out of time, both because the election's almost over, but you're running out of time also because people are getting in on the market. So get that money. Get it. Get it. I want to see all of my people watching this Periscopes. I want to see you guys get rich. I want to see you guys get rich off of the cabal's lies. They've been fucking us for such a long time. Let's get rich. Let's get that money. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. All right. Let me answer some of these questions. You guys feel free to just throw me these things out there. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, Minnesota's all right. I'm going on here. I'm going down. Man, we got so many good stuff here. Okay. So states lose or gain electoral votes between presidential elections. Every 10 years, there's redistricting. So after this election, they'll redistrict. That's why they were having the census. So some states will lose seats and other states will gain them. That actually may have already. I think that's for the next election. I saw. I can't believe that's bold. 22nd and Locust actually was very close to where I used to live in Philadelphia. I was probably about 10 minutes away from that. In my shitlib town in South Jersey, I saw Biden signs vandalized this morning. So there's I have to say signs overall have decreased in volume. And then you have some houses that have like 10 Biden signs on their lawns. So very few Trump signs, but you see a lot of American flags. You see, and look, I think my town will probably go towards Biden, but who gives a fuck? I mean, I do think that probably 40% of the town is going to go to Trump. 45% of the town is going to go to Trump. Like I said before, we don't have a Trump sign out there because I don't want to draw attention to the demons who many of these people who are fucking infested. Yeah, Milwaukee, empty too, right? All the Democratic areas completely empty. So yeah, Virginia. All right, I'll tell you guys about Virginia. So here's the deal with Virginia, so you guys understand. Virginia is some of the stuff you guys probably know. traditionally very conservative state, right? Southern state. The north of Virginia has become, the deep state center, right? Maryland, Virginia, everything around DC. It gets all the lobbyists, gets all the bullshit. So Northern Virginia has been pretty much, since like 2010 or so, late 2008 or something, it's pretty much started to take over control of the state. So you have one of the most radical left governors in the country in Virginia, which is pretty crazy. Like Virginia is probably was like, if you can be honest here, Virginia and Colorado were like the next California. They really, really got transformed quite a bit. But here's the thing. The governor really overstepped bounds. Okay, first really going after the Second Amendment. And Virginia is a very, very pro-Second Amendment state. And I mean, you guys remember from earlier in the year that there was going to be legitimately like sheriffs, and there might have been like a civil war within Virginia about this. So the governor actually backed down on those gun measures. But then you also have the governor basically saying, actually he actually said this, guys. I mean, people don't believe it because it's so insane. But he actually talked about aborting babies after they were born, which is like basically killing a baby, okay? A baby's born, it's crying, and you kill it, okay? You suck its brain out. That's what they do. So he got a lot of shit for that. Here's the thing, though, about Virginia. So you have that shit-lib northern part, but then you have about 30% black population in the state. It's a very African-American state. Okay, this is relevant when it comes to Virginia because you're taking maybe some of the shit-lib northern Virginia suburbs, but the black vote's the real key here because the control of Virginia is African Americans and shit libs around DC. African American turnout is dramatically down. I think it's probably, I've been saying it's down by the same margin Clinton was down from Obama. I'm actually thinking it's probably twice that based on what we're seeing from the cities. Because, I mean, I'm going too far with this, but I don't think a lot of like yuppie upper middle class white liberals are going to early vote. Seniors are going to early vote. I don't think the African American community is early voting for the most part. I think that's why they have souls to the polls. This is a big thing for the left to try to drive out urban centers, drive them to the polls to vote. That's not happening this year. It's not happening. I don't think most of them mailed in. I would be very, very skeptical. I don't think it's reflected in the data either. Okay, so this is the key to why Virginia might flip, because right now you have Trump getting 20% of the black vote, maybe 25%, 20% of the black vote. But the big thing here is the turnout is also down. So you cut that back to turnout by 10, 20%. And then of that remaining sector, you add a further 10 to 15% to the other side, or take away a further 10, 15% of that's probably a better way to phrase it. This is a bad situation. It's actually critical failure, because that doesn't just affect Virginia, that affects the entire country. But in Virginia, that's how you could see the state flip. So I don't know, but I can tell you what I did put money on were the two major congressional races there, Virginia 2, Virginia 7. Virginia 2 is, I think, around, I might mix the two districts up, but the two districts I'm talking about is one in the northwest of Richmond and one that's around the basically the I'm trying to say the Panhandle. I guess it's not the Panhandle, the Delmarva Peninsula. So the VA part that's on the peninsula, the Delmarva Peninsula, and around like Norfolk and Virginia Beach. Those are swing districts. Guys, they voted for Trump in 2016. They got taken by the Democrats in 2018. They're going to go back to Republicans. I don't understand how people don't think this is going to happen. Really good odds unpredicted for these ones. Okay. So, do I think we will get legitimate results tonight? No, I don't think we're going to get clear. I think we're going to have clear. It's going to be obvious Trump won. And I wouldn't be surprised if Trump announces victory tonight. I think he will. But I don't think that the media is going to confirm that. That's where the thing's going to be. Trump's going to declare a victory. The media won't confirm it. And so I don't think we're going to get legitimate results. But guys, it's going to be a week tops at this rate. I mean, probably less. I'm hoping end of week. It looks pretty messy for them. It looks pretty fucking bad. All right, pretty fucking bad. Minnesota, Okay, Minnesota was on the edge. I was always very confident he was going to take it. But from what I have seen from the people who poll, and when I say poll, I mean people who are like digging into the actual data, Minnesotans who I've been following, I can't remember their handles, guys, off the top of my head. They're saying that the situation for Trump is more than what he needed to win. Okay. The big thing in Minnesota, I'll give you another indication here, some of the data I've been looking at. Big issue for Trump in 2016, he didn't have the northeast of the state, called the Iron Range. It's based around Duluth. Northeast of the state is ethnically Norwegian, extremely anti-war, extremely anti-war. They didn't trust him. They're very, very Democrat. They didn't trust him in 2016. All indications are they trust him now. They're going to Trump. They're going to Trump. Now, it's when it comes to the Senate race with Lewis, we don't really know exactly if they're not as keen on Republicans. So they're going for Trump, but they're not ready probably to support Lewis. But what's interesting about Minnesota is it doesn't really matter because Lewis, interestingly enough, does better with the suburban voters around Minneapolis, St. Paul. So as you might have thought that Lewis would be running behind Trump, but they're pretty much on the same page. They get slightly different bases from different parts of the state. So I put it on Lewis as well. Even though he had a hernia, I think he's going to take it. I think he's going to win Minnesota. I think Lewis has as good of a chance of winning as McSally. And with the vote totals in Arizona right now, I think they're both going to take it, guys. I think we're getting 55 seats in the Senate. I think we're getting 55 in the Senate. Guys, maybe we're getting 56 because some people are saying that Colorado looks really much in play. And the thing about Colorado is we probably won't take the state because it's been very trending against Trump. But if it gets that close, the senator is an incumbent senator. In the senator, I forget his name because I didn't put anything on him. He's running above Trump. So the senator actually might stay. It could be a 56-seat Senate, potentially, we're looking at here. So crazy stuff. I mean, really, really, really good stuff. Really good stuff going on here. All right, let's keep going down here. Let's keep going down. I'd mentioned some key congressional seats. There's a lot of others. Here's what I would recommend. Here's what I did. Okay, I listened to Robert Barnes's prediction video. But the other thing that you can do as a heuristic, and there are some exceptions. I'll mention one exception I know of. But if you go and you check out the House seats that are listed on Predicted, and you go and you check, okay, who won them in 2016, and you see Trump won them in 2016, bet on them again. That's what I did. I'm not saying do it, but that's what I did. Because this electorate is going more for Trump than 2016. So ignore the midterm swing. You have Iowa, that there's 3 districts, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd district in Iowa. You're going to get at least 2 out of 3 of those, probably all 3. I've talked to you guys about what I do know, which is New Jersey. I know New Jersey, South Jersey at least, in New Jersey. 2nd district and 3rd district, okay? 3rd district I know a little bit less well. It's north of me. 2nd district is south of me. I know that district extremely well. That went Democrat in 2018. But here's the thing. That's Jeff Van Drew. So Jeff Van Drew switched teams. Got a lot of press for that. Spoke at the Republican National Convention. I don't actually think you're going to get good odds anymore on it because people woke up to the fact that, you're fucking retarded if you think Van Drew is going to lose this district. This district went 59% towards Trump in 2016 under the previous congressman who retired in 2018. Okay, so you have to be fucking dumb. To think that this district is extremely independent. Okay, it's mostly rural. It has suburbs. New Jersey. It is a very, very independent district. And I've told you guys, when I go to the countryside, it's Trump signs everywhere. And on the coast, right, okay, which gets a lot of, in the winter, maybe not so many, but slight edge to Trump in terms of signs. And it's a conservative area. So it's going to Trump. It's going to Van Drew, and Trump. Congressional District 3 is similar. Okay, it's a mid-state, but it's still Pine Barrens, upper suburbs. Again, this place went to Trump in 2016. The only issue in this congressional race is you have the Democratic incumbent who won in 2018 has more money. I don't think it's going to work, guys. I think New Jersey is going to be a close race. I think it's going to be within a couple points, which means that third district is going to flip. I wouldn't be surprised if a district in central North Jersey, I think it's the seventh. I can't remember. I think it's going to flip too, but I wasn't offered to bet on. So I put it on. I put it on NJ3, VA2, VA7 because these are the best odds. Now I'm going to tell you about one race though that might be a trap. Okay. Maine 2nd District. I put a little bit down on this, and I kind of realized that maybe this wasn't a good idea. Maine 2nd District, and this is why you have to be careful when you bet further and further downstream, because you can't just be blanket about everything. There are individual situations for each district. Maine 2nd District is going to Trump, no question, but the Democratic congressional candidate in Maine 2nd District is very good. He's very, very good. He's an independent Democrat. He describes himself. He's very, very Maine focused. Okay, so he might lose because of the wave, but it seems like, from what I understand, it seems like people in Maine like him. So I would be surprised. He might survive it. So I wouldn't. You get the best odds on him, but I don't know that I would put too much on that, because out of everything that I put down, that's probably the only one I feel like I might lose. All right, so let me keep going down here. Yeah, we'll see about the 10 days of darkness. We'll see when that is, man. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. Yep. So Europe, the usual. They're all assets deployed. They're having all sorts of terror attacks. All assets deployed. Happened in France. Happened in Vienna. UK's on high alert. It's all bullshit. I mean, people got to wake up to this stuff. Like the fucking convenience of these attacks. It just happened out of nowhere. There's no reason for it to happen. It just happened out of nowhere. Like, well, you don't know. You don't know. How do you know that? Well, you don't. Can you source? Hey, source. Do you have a source for that? These fucking midwits. I swear to God, they're so fucking stupid. All right, let's keep going down here. Let's keep going down. Yeah, Biden camp says they won't concede no matter what. Well, Biden doesn't even realize. You guys saw the video, right, in Philadelphia? Biden's back in Philadelphia. Biden does, Biden's saying his son, Beau Biden, who's been dead for 5 years, he tries to introduce his son, Beau Biden. That's a funny one, right? It's just like, what a fucking joke. Like, how humiliating is this? Like, I actually think that you should feel humiliated if you vote for Biden. Which is why I respect the Democrats who stayed at home. Because it's like, are you going to really humiliate yourself to vote for this? Like, we're not going to take responsibility for that. We're like, if I was a Democrat, I'm like, I'm not taking responsibility for this. I'm not owning this. This is pathetic. This is absolutely pathetic. And guys, I would have felt the same way if Jeb Bush was our nominee. It's fucking pathetic. They don't. What's going to happen when results are out? I don't know. I mean, there's not much that they can really do. They can lie for a bit, but the votes are the votes. They can't change the votes. They can try to shut down things and make people not vote. The votes are the votes. The media can lie about it only so long. We're fine, guys. We're fine. Antifa probably activates tomorrow. Maybe late tonight. I don't know. I hope not, because I have to take an Uber from Long Island City. Nate Silver's gonna cry. Nate Silver's getting money. I think I mentioned this on Twitter. I hope people can see it. Nate Silver is not stupid, okay? I don't want... He is a low vibration individual. Nate Silver is not intuitive in the least bit. He's a data drone, okay? But he's not stupid. Nate Silver knows what's going on. He knows they're losing. People have to wake up to this shit. They have to wake up and realize that this is not like... Nate Silver is being paid or blackmailed, probably both. That's how they usually operate. That's what's going on. He is trying to push a narrative. That's why he's freaking out. He's freaking out because he knows it's bullshit and he knows his reputation is being destroyed, but he has to do it. And I don't know what he did. He looks like he looks frankly creepy to me. So I could speculate on some things that maybe he was exposed to. I could speculate on what Nate Silver was offered, but I don't want to, do any libel or anything like that. But just look at Nate Silver and imagine him in a white van parked outside your kid's elementary school. And maybe you could see maybe Nate Silver. I think you could maybe see Nate Silver in a white van parked outside of your elementary school, couldn't you? I could see it. I could see it. But I mean, he's probably just, he likes white vans. That's probably all it is. So Nate Silver has been made an offer he can't refuse. He's got an offer he can't refuse. He is destroying his reputation, but he has to do it because he has to buy them time. And that's why he's stressed. That's why he wants to play video games on election day. Like, what a fucking joke. Can you imagine anybody in this profession actually saying that? Like, oh man, like, numbers from Florida are tough. I'm just going to go, it's election day, biggest election in American history, numbers are pretty tough. I'm going to go play video games. Like, come on. Come on here. Really? Come on. Like, we know what's going on. We know what's going on. We know Nate Silver is like, I can't tell the truth, so I'm going to go play video games. That's what's going on here. All right, so poor Nate. I feel bad for Nate, but I am going to send him a thank you card because if it wasn't for Nate, people wouldn't be betting on Biden if it wasn't for Nate. So thank you, Nate. I'm very grateful. Maybe you. I don't endorse what you did in that van, but Nate, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful because if it wasn't for you, mwah, me and my mutuals wouldn't be doing so well if it wasn't for you. All right, let's keep going here. Let's keep going. Van Jones is cabal. I mean, he is cabal. The thing is, like, you have to say, I've said this multiple times, there's the question of who is cabal and who is controlled by cabal. So people who are controlled, as in they've been blackmailed or whatever, they have a little bit of leeway, right? Lindsey Graham, for instance. I mean, Lindsey Graham's going to win re-election. I would vote for Lindsey Graham under duress. I would do it simply because Lindsey Graham is a prostitute. He's a political prostitute, but now he's our prostitute. Okay, he was John McCain and the cabal's prostitute. There's enough rumors about Lindsey Graham that you can think about probably some of the things he's done, but I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And I actually have a picture with Lindsey Graham. I met him. Maybe I'll post that at some point. But he's a prostitute. That's what he is. He's a political prostitute. So, but he's not cabal. Okay, so there's a difference between the two things. A lot of the issues in the country, cabal is very small. The issues in the country are mostly about who the cabal's blackmailed, who the cabal's controlled. Not that I respect those people because they didn't do the right thing. If I was put in that position, I would resign rather than, and that you do see that happen. I would resign rather than be a part of their bullshit. Sam Harris is probably paid, if I had to guess. I don't really know a lot about him, to be honest. I'd say maybe a mix. I don't know. Hey, side note to this kind of stuff. You see Cernovich. Hey, you're a great guy, Cernovich. Mike Cernovich, Gorilla Mindset Predictor. Today, Mike's so brilliant. Mike Cernovich comes out today, starts talking about how, hey, is Trump going to win this? Trump's going to win this. Is Trump going to win this? Thanks, Mike. Hey, Mike, where the fuck were you? Where the fuck were you the last couple of months? What were you doing? What were you doing, dude? What the fuck were you doing? You're going to say on election day, oh, I'm such a good predictor. It's like the Nate Silver of like our general corner of the internet. Hedge your bets for like, I'm persuading people. I'm persuasive. I want to play with your emotions. Last week Trump was losing. Now he's winning. The fucking retard. What a sad story, guys. What a sad story. I loved him, honestly. I was an early endorser of him. I gave him money. I was a big donor for him. I'm not like a big, I mean, in terms of small donations, I was giving him like a couple $100s to help with his movies and stuff. Very, very sad. Very sad direction that he's gone. But, once you get the little top, the little man bun thing there, once you get that, it's game over. All right, let's keep going. When does COVID stuff finally dissipate? Probably the spring. I really feel energetically spring 2021 is when this stuff ends. That's when it ends. What will happen in New Jersey? Well, like I said, I don't think it's going to flip, but I think it's going to be close. I think it'll be close. I would love it if it flipped. I'll tell you actually, guys, something because you might find this interesting. I registered online for New Jersey, and I actually suspected this would happen because it seemed too easy, but everything was confirmed that you had registered. I did this well over a month ago. And what happened? I go to vote this morning in New Jersey, where I wanted to vote, and I'm on the voter rolls. And I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen, but I was told that I was registered and that I was going to be able to get in. So it was all right because I knew I was also still registered in New York. And of course, guys, I would never vote in two states. I mean this. I'm not being like sarcastic. I would never vote in two states in the same election. That's like a felony. I would never do it. Stupid. It's like the stupidest felony you could commit to like put one vote into. But I knew I was still registered in New York, so I voted in Manhattan today, this early evening. But I don't know. I mean, New Jersey is not as much, there's a lot of conservatives in New Jersey. Okay, it is not a full blown shit lib state. Up until the 2018 midterms, we were only out of the congressional districts. I can't remember how many. It was literally 50%. Like half of them plus one were Democrat. So that means that if you had 13 districts, 6 were Republican, 7 were Democrat. I mean, it's a pretty split state. Now, in 2018, we lost 3 districts. But then Vandrew flipped, and now 3rd, I think, is going back to us. And then maybe I think it's 7th could come back too. But the point is that New Jersey is not as, when you get into it, it's not as much of a. I love New Jersey. Now I'm gonna say my things. All right, let's keep going down here. I got 77 more messages here. I'm going to go fast now. What if Biden when it happens and you are wrong? Will you accept it? Well, of course I'm going to have to accept it. But it's not going to happen, dude. It's not going to happen. Like, it's like saying, like, what if pigs fly? Like, you guys, I don't think some people understand, because once you have an energetic understanding of these things, like, you don't get deluded by that stuff. Like, you know already. It's like a deeper knowing. You don't have to like stress about this or this or this. And I check the data. I mean, I use my analytical mind the previous weeks. I'm not like just a feeler and I just throw it out there. Like, I'm just going to feel this stuff. And I know where the energy goes. I check the data. I didn't bet on anything that the data didn't support. Even though I knew that within a year, Trump's going to be loved by 80% of the country. But I know we're not a year there yet, so the energy could be misleading. So I'm really not worried. I have, as we say in the dating community, I got 3 IOIs, right? I know she's interested. All right. Trump all day, get that money. Yep. Within a week, Trump will be declared victor. Next dating Periscope, guys. I know that a lot of you guys love both Periscopes, or you prefer dating. We're going to get back to it. Don't worry. I have some questions. You guys can feel free to DM me the questions. I would like to do one later this week, probably early next week. I have to be just really honest. This is my focus. Now. I came here. I incarnated here to be here for this moment. This is more important than dating questions. I know that my mission, so I have to focus on this now. I'm not done with dating and relationships. You don't have to worry about that. So I would say, to be safe, expect it early next week. So I'd say to be safe. Tons of denial from the MSM. Yep. Bet that money. Get that money, man. Get it. I don't know who Courtney Holland is. Alan, you can DM me about him. I don't bet on things I don't understand. I don't gamble. I only bet on this because I knew it. Right? I don't do anything in crypto. I have $500 I bought in 2017 worth of crypto, which has now tripled. I just held on to it with Bitcoin's going up, but I don't put money into things I don't understand, or unless I very, very strongly trust a person who does understand it. So I will invest my winnings into the market predominantly, but I'm not. I don't give any of that kind of stuff. So I think I would do well, but I just have to care about it. And the truth is, I just don't care. And if you don't care about something, you can't do well with it. And I know my limitations. Like, I'm not trying to figure out what's Coca-Cola's price going to go up to. I don't give a fuck about that. So better for me to trust somebody who does care about that. And there's nothing wrong with caring about it, but someone who does care about these particular stocks, that's who I trust. And I see they have a good track record, and I give them my money, right? And they take care of it. For some of these bets, like predicted, I was kind of blocked out from being able to do everything on there. I have friends who live abroad who I've sent money to, and they've bet for me. Or they've made their own bets with my money, I think is a better way to put it. And they'll give me a gift afterwards because they're getting a commission. So that's the way I would put it. And, but yeah, so you have to have a lot of trust with these kind of things. Yeah, Virginia Beach, big Trump area. So that means, guys, that if I think it's Virginia 2nd district, that means that Virginia 2nd is going to be going towards Trump. No question about it. No question about that. Michigan's going to go the same. Michigan and Wisconsin go the same way as Florida. Don't ask me why that is, but it's true. I mean, Florida and Ohio are bellwethers, and Ohio is going to go well over 4-6% towards Trump, probably 8% if I could be honest here. All right, let's keep going down here. Trump got the looking glass from his uncle. Yep, Trump knows. Trump knows, guys. You see Trump. Trump's doing YMCA on stage. Trump knows he's winning. I know Trump's winning. Like, there's a knowing, okay? Why do you think Trump is so confident all the time? Trump was confident in 2016 because Trump is so grounded into the energy. He doesn't get stressed about bullshit stuff that happens here. He sees it happening already. He deals with it. People pointed it out. I mentioned it after I saw his rally. Trump glows. He has an aura to him. Okay? So, big stuff. All right? Big stuff. Minnesota does not have nearly enough Somalis to vote for Biden. Don't you worry about that. Minnesota is an incredibly white state. Okay? Minnesota was actually your point about them having Somalis is probably a good one, because Minnesota, an incredibly white Norwegian, Swedish, German state, got targeted for refugee programs where they dumped tons of Somalis in Minnesota. And what happened to the cities since, that's been breaking. So actually the point about this is, like, Minnesota is still well whiter than the United States. I mean, Minnesota is probably 95% white. So sorry, that 5% is not going to do it. 3 million more voted for Hillary, and she wasn't even that popular. Guys, I don't have any exact proof for this, just simply inferential proof, but she didn't win the popular vote in 2016. If she did, it was extremely close. It was nowhere near to 3 million people. All that came from states like California and New York, and it was just massive amounts of fraud. Running up the score. Just run up the score. And that's why it didn't matter. I mean, it didn't matter at all. But don't fall for the lie that Trump won New Hampshire in 2016, and there was no way that 3 million more voted for Hillary. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. But fortunately, it didn't matter, and Trump knew that. He targeted what mattered. So Trump cheated with Putin. That's right. That's what I love. Trump cheated with Putin. Brigantine, yep, Brigantines. That's the third district in New Jersey. Brigantine Lighthouse, very beautiful place. Massachusetts is not going to go to Trump, unfortunately. Strange. And New England's interesting, but it would be great to see a new district there, wouldn't it? Because Massachusetts is the only state in the nation, except for I guess Hawaii, but only big state in the nation. Yeah, okay. So you have like Rhode Island, etc., but only big state in the nation that has no Republican congressional seats. It's pretty crazy. Um, thank you. More articulate Scott Adams 2016 vibes. Well, I don't play the persuasion tricks that Scott Adams does. No insult to Scott Adams. He's great at what he does. It's just not really my thing to try to like play word games. To me, that's like flirting with the left hand path. I would just prefer to bring energy and truth, and that's right hand path. That's what I do. I'm not gonna like NLP is kind of silly. I've taken NLP classes. I just think it's silly stuff. Tonight's a good night for Tindering. Yeah, you got a lot of, you have to fake it though. You got to fake. I'm so upset about the results. All right. Yeah, Boris has been very much on the edge one way or another. What's the source? That's the source, right? I don't know. I don't know Illinois 6. I can't comment on that. They're gonna try to do it. It's not gonna happen, guys. They're gonna try to do all this stuff. They don't have even nearly. They probably have 30% of the population that would back that. Like, it's not gonna happen. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna give you guys actually an anecdote. This is an anecdote from one of my parents' friends. This is very interesting. They're in Virginia, okay, probably around the Congressional 7 district, around Richmond, so central Virginia. The gun store was completely sold out, and it was filled with good old boys, as you would say, who were talking about how to kill Antifa, how you shoot someone, talking about the recoil of the guns, right? That you fire and then the gun goes up and you fire again. They're talking about how you should fire 3 times with a pistol, with a Glock, because the first one will go into the chest, but then as the recoil hits, the next one it'll go up, and then you'll get him in the head. Basically, you'll get 3 shots in the body if you pattern the recoil. I'm not a gun person, so I'm not gun. I just didn't grow up with it, so I'm giving you what I heard. You don't have to fact check me on it. But the point was that they were ready for Antifa. They were explicitly talking about dealing with Antifa. So they're not going to orchestrate a color revolution. Do you think these fucking losers are going to be able to deal with the good old boys? And let's remember here, there are 500 million guns in the United States. 500 million guns in the United States. Do you think for a second Storrs' brown shirts can do anything? We could shut it down in 2 seconds with the National Guard, and Trump's going to do that, which is why the National Guard's deployed to all these cities. But do you think even if the military wasn't going to do it, that the good old boys weren't going to do it? I remember in Pennsylvania just a couple weeks ago when Antifa was trying to do riots and stuff, and they were trying to go down to D.C., they got freaked out because they were getting shot at as they were going down the road. People in central Pennsylvania were shooting at them. They saw Antifa was coming down. They just shot the cars. We don't know who did it. But you have people who hunt for they hunt, right? That's what they do. I don't want to say hunt for a living, but it's part of their lifestyle. Just peeking around, shooting at Antifa as they're driving by. Okay? These guys are fucked in the event of a civil war. Don't even worry about that stuff. Color revolution. What a fucking joke. The only way they could do that is if they controlled the presidency and they controlled the military. Only way they could attempt to do it. And then they would have still been drawn out into a long, protracted civil war. It would have happened. It would have happened. It didn't happen. We're on that timeline. Instead, we're on the timeline where Joe Biden thinks his dead son is still alive, and he's running against Trump. So we're on that timeline. So be very, very grateful for it, because we're going to win. We're going to win big. All right, let's keep going down here. Nate Silver doesn't pay for the disinformation, but I think you're asking who paid for it. Soros, etc., the cabal. I mean, I don't have to give a specific name. There's plenty of people who fund the media, which is the cabal, right? And we can get specific, but there's no point in doing that. Yeah, we'll see about Kanye. All right. Yeah, Nate is a counter signal. Psycho Mike. Oh my goodness. Energy leech. Mike the fence setter. Yeah, he's gonna retire for a reason. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. Cernovich calling the World Series in the bottom of the ninth in Game 7. He would block me for saying that. Hey, he did block me for saying that. When I had the man bun, guys. Unfortunately for me, I'm gonna lose the hair. I won't be able to do the man bun. I would love to do it. I can't do it. It's not gonna work for me. Um, the election will probably not come out today. I think Trump will declare today, but I don't think that they're going to acknowledge it until a bit. That's what I guess. Let's see here. We're almost done. We have the second Somali target factor. Yeah, it won't be it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Native Americans are going for Trump. So you see the tribal chieftain in Arizona doing that. No, everybody's going for Trump, man. Everybody's going for Trump. All of these communities, they're going for Trump. Yep. Yep. Richmond, good old boy, many such cases. We know it. Trump takes the bacon, guys. Come on. All right, guys. Do I think John Podesta arrested today? I don't. I don't. I know Q said that. I don't think that's going to happen. Could be. It doesn't make any sense because we have to get the election figured out. It's a little bit premature. So we'll see. We will see. The hair loss solution I was talking about, you can check my post on it. That's a Sear custom. It's Jay Campbell's product. It's doing a great job. I mean, I think I'm fighting an uphill battle. It's well improved from where it was, but we'll see where it goes. But check out my post on if you care about hair loss. It's on my website. I talk about hair loss. Last blog. All right, guys. Look, I might post some stuff tonight, but I want you to remember. I want you to remember what we said at the beginning of this. Okay, which is that don't be afraid. The media says stuff. Don't freak out. Just fucking like be fucking men. Honestly, it's like be fucking men and keep your nerve. Okay, don't get demoralized. Spread the light. We're gonna win this. We're gonna win a lot with this. I will see you guys very soon.